Hey VC, this is Mark with Vinyl Crush. I had an opportunity recently to dive through a little record collection and picked up a bunch of records that I like. Some of the stuff I bought separate, but in particular I bought a number of Beck albums, and one of them is a GRAIL. So I'm really excited to show you that. But I have some other stuff I want to show you first. So this is also kind of a GRAIL for me. This is Arise Therefore. It's by Bonnie Prince Billy, Will Oldham. It came out originally, I think, under the moniker of Palace or the Palace Brothers, although it doesn't say that on the sleeve or on the album at all. I think I might have said it on the original cellophane. Came out in '96. It was his fourth album. This is the first album of his that I heard. I bought this on CD when it came out and was just floored. All the songs on here are dark, stark, and beautiful. They're painfully slow in terms of tempo, but they're also just painful songs. They're really, he really bears his soul on this album. The melodies are beautiful. There's hooks, there's great harmonies. It's just him on the guitar, his brother Ned on piano, and a guy named Dave Grubbs on bass, and then Maya Tone is credited as the percussionist. Maya Tone is the name of a drum machine. Kind of a personal joke of his, I guess. This was engineered by Steve Albini, who's hit and miss. He's actually really an interesting engineer and producer, but for this album, because he usually keeps things really raw and straight up, it works incredibly well. The song on here, the title song, Arise Therefore, is one of my favorite songs on here. There's a couple of others I really like. If you hear that song and like it, you're going to like the whole album. The whole album is good. There's only one song on here called A Weaker Soldier that's kind of upbeat and happy, but all of the songs are beautiful. So this is the first pressing, Drag City Records. Really just so happy to find this and love this album. Next, I have a Ry Cooder album. This came out in 1994. It's called Talking Timbuktu. This is with Ali Farka Touré. So Ry Cooder does a lot of music with other people. He loves to work together with other musicians and other guitar players in particular. When he does that, he does not insert himself. He really is a backup musician to support the musician that he's co-producing the album with. Ali Farka Touré is a very famous African musician. He's sort of the father of desert blues. He brought it to the rest of the world. He's been around a long, long time. There are 11 songs on this album in 11 different languages, all from Africa. They're all beautiful. This is a beautiful album. If you like desert blues, if you like African rhythms, if you like beautiful music, this is an incredible album. This album it's a double album. It comes with an insert with credits and another beautiful picture. I had this album on CD and looked for it for a long time. I finally got it on vinyl. Really enjoying this album, listening to it a lot. So I also ran across, this is Lightning Hopkins. Lightning Hopkins is a great blues guitar player. When he learned to play guitar, when he was playing, he played a solo by himself most of the time. So, and this is back in like the 40s. He played by himself, so he was one of the first guys who learned when they're playing guitar. His finger style was that he could play the bass and the chords and the lead at the same time while he's slapping the guitar with his hand for percussion and singing. So he's a one-man band on the guitar. He was one of the first guys to do that. He's remarkably good. This album came out in, it's a lot of his music that he recorded in the 50s. It was put out as a compilation in '62, and this was part 3 of that compilation. It was reissued in 1972 on Mainstream label. So this is a first pressing of the reissue on Mainstream. It's called Dirty Blues. It's an amazing record. I just am so happy to find this. Actually, I think I have an insert. Nope. Oh, that is just the record. I love the pictures on this. The pictures here and also on the back really like the album. Really good. This is Southern blues, Texas blues. It's an amazing record. Lightnin' Hopkins put out, probably he recorded 800 to 1,000 songs in his day, and prolific, profound artist. Came across, and I have to tell you, I live in Portland, Oregon. This is not a political statement, but when I grew up here in my younger years, there were a lot more African American people living in this now very white city. It got gentrified and we lost a lot of the people of color. And so when I go record shopping in used record stores or secondhand stores, I don't run across African American musicians that much. There just isn't enough of it out there. It's actually hard for me to find a record like this. This is the Brothers Johnson. Look Out for Number One is the name of the record. This is their first record. It's the first pressing on A&M label. It has a song in here called I'll Be Good to You. Incredible song. This is R&B, funk, and some kind of a little bit of jazz and disco. Came out in 1976, so it's got to have some disco in it. It has another song called Get the Funk Out of My Face. Really great song, actually co-written by the producer of the album, Quincy Jones. Another song called The Devil, another really funky, dirty, fun song. There's a couple of beautiful songs on here too. This is a really good record. They had a couple of other albums, but this is the one that I have. This is the only one of theirs that I have at this point. Listening to these guys when I was a kid, really good. R&B, funk, soul. Love that album. So now I'm going to dive into my Beck collection. I'm not a completist. I only have a few of his albums. I have the ones that I love. This is my most recent purchase, one of my most recent purchases. This is One Foot in the Grave. It came out in 1994. It was Beck's fourth album. It actually was recorded before Mellow Gold, which is the third album, but it wasn't put out until after Mellow Gold's popularity. That was the album that had the song Loser on it. And I'm still looking for a first pressing of that album. Haven't found it yet. One Foot in the Grave. This is really lo-fi, anti-folk. It's like, I call it back porch blues or back porch Americana. It's a bunch of guys that got together probably in a basement and recorded this really lo-fi record, but they're really good musicians and it's really fun and it's a great listen. I love this album. It reminds me of some of the songs that when I listen to like Daniel Johnston. He was made famous by Kurt Cobain. If you haven't heard Daniel Johnston, also check him out. Acoustic player, just kind of back porch blues kind of stuff and kind of wild. Great album. Love this album. So a number of years ago, I picked this up, first pressing of Beck Au Delay. This is on Bongload Records. I'll show you the label. Bongload Records, isn't that a great name for a label? This album came out in 1994. It was his fifth album, and I'll show you I love the picture on the back there. Beautiful art. This was kind of it's like folk rap, rock, R&B. He started out making an acoustic album, kind of like the one I just put down, I guess. And in fact, a couple of those acoustic songs are still on here, but he kind of suddenly changed his mind, brought in the Dust Brothers, of all people, who were basically hip hop producers. And they came up with this record. So you have, Devil's Haircut, New Pollution, Where It's At, all these really funky R&B tunes on here that are really good. There's also a tune called Ramshackle, which is kind of an acoustic blues, well, I don't know if blues is the right word for it, acoustic song that he did. Charlie Hayden actually plays stand-up bass on that song. That's from the original recordings that he did before he brought in the Dust Brothers. Great album, can't beat it. Love to have a first pressing of that, really happy. This is a recent purchase. I got to go through a collection, and this is Beck Mutations. So this came out in 1998. This is his sixth album, I think. And so this is more of a psych album. He really went into acoustic a lot. There's like a song called Cold Brains, which is kind of a 60s space age psych song. There's a song called Nobody's Fault But Mine that's more of a a spiritual psych song. It has tablas and esaraj and sitars and stuff like that on it. There's a song called something blues, something bottle blues. Forgot it. Anyway, it's acoustic with harmonica, blues song. This is just an incredible album. First pressing, has a 7-inch single on here that I haven't even listened to yet. Excited about. I think this is not a gatefold. So, love this album. Beautiful album. Really happy to have it. So the next album, this is the GRAIL. Okay, this album is incredibly difficult to find on vinyl in the wild or anywhere. This is Midnight Vultures. This came out in 1999. I think this is his 7th studio album. He produced this with a number of other people, so different songs were co-produced by other people with him. This album, I think one of the working names for the title of this album was called "You Could Smell the VD in This Club." So you can get an idea of what kind of, this is a sassy, making fun of clubs, club music kind of album. There's not a serious song on this album. It's really fun, it's really pop, it's really kind of funky, it's got R&B. There's one of my favorite Beck songs in the world is on here. It's called Deborah. It was actually co-produced with the Dust Brothers. They did one other song on here. Deborah is this really gorgeous, beautiful, lovely R&B song. Sounds like a love song, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's about this guy trying to pick up this girl in JCPenney's so that he can get with her sister and her together. So lots of sarcasm, fun record. And so it came out in 1999. Vinyl was not very popular back then. So they made one pressing run of this album on vinyl. And it's really hard to find and it's pretty expensive. So I was really lucky to find one and be able to pick up a copy of it. I'm going to show you the artwork on here. Let's see. Here's the inside of the cover, just because you never get to see it. You won't see it anywhere. It's so hard to find. Beautiful album. Really happy to have this. I love this record. So then Beck put out, after this, he put out a bunch of music. Most of it I haven't bought. It hasn't really been my kind of thing, but in 2005 he created his 9th album and he got back together with the Dust Brothers, and so got back into that R&B funk kind of thing. And with this one he really brought in a lot of East LA street culture, so there's a lot of really fun, dirty, rockin', hip-hop, raunchy songs on this album. It's really good. It's called Huero. There's a song on here called Que Onda Huero. There's a song on here called E-Pro. These are really funny, funky, East LA street culture kind of songs. There's a song on here called Go It Alone, another one of my favorite Beck songs in the world. Jack White actually does the bass on that song, and it is the funkiest, dirtiest, nastiest, coolest bass line. I love that song. This is a great album. I'll show you some of the... This is also a first pressing. I feel very fortunate. It's a double album. Includes a little art on the inside and some credits. Love this album. Really love most of Beck's stuff. Love Beck. This is my Beck collection. I'm going to be doing another video in about a week on the Black Friday Record Store Day drops. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So in the meantime, enjoy your spins and thanks for watching.